the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Morning.
Morning.
Top of the morning to you.
Sure. I don't think we're allowed to do that anymore. Canceled.
Do the Irish really say that?
I'm sure at some point they did. Anyway, good talk.
Good pep talk. If we can
on to sports.
If we get a little research on that, let me know.
Great.
Hop into those YouTube comments. Yeah, man. We got a nice little NBA playoff rundown, little NHL playoffs. Here's the thing.
You've been watching hockey.
It's all because of Ryan. So shout
out to Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you have a hockey team you root for, or have you not decided which player is your favorite player yet that you'll follow around the league? How's this working? Are you a Kraken fan?
I haven't decided who I'm rooting for, but
Columbus next year. You can go to a couple Blue Jackets games.
So this is, and the Dirtballs will understand this. They will be like, that's the most Ruther thing ever. Watching the Panthers, Maple Leafs. I always want to.
Leafs, right?
Leafs. I always want to say Leafs. Watching the Panthers, Maple Leafs. There we go. And by the way, apologies to Ryan. I mean, down 3-0. It's a tough hole to get out of. But anyway, I became hung up on the nickname Panthers. That I've went down Wikipedia and how many Panthers are in Florida.
There's Panthers in Florida, right?
Well, there are.
Yeah.
There's about two. That's what I wanted to say. It's the most like Andy Ruther thing ever. Is I'm watching the game and now I'm focused on what's the status of this animal. Got down to about 70 in the 70s. Thanks to
that's like a Sirius XM station.
Yes,
70 in the 70s.
But thank God to some conservationist and animal activists. We're up to about 200.
Okay. Basically, Tiger King and the chick, they brought them back.
Yes. Carol fucking Baskin. So we're up to about 200, but I did learn something interesting, and I don't have a timeline on this. The Panthers used to extend all the way in the belt handle to Louisiana and even in Arkansas.
Wow.
Now they are in the southwestern part of Florida, hence the name Florida Panthers. But look, they're still there. So shout out to all those roaming Panthers that are in the state of Florida. But good luck against the pythons, because I know that's an invasive species. Fun fact.
That's
anyway,
a very fun fact.
That is where I was watching, and I was disappointed.
I'm so glad I got you those fucking dad shoes. You're a full Midwest dad. I mean, this is something that goes on. This is something just dads in general. They get hung up on something, and next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, I was Wikipediaing it the other day."
Yeah, but I've always been a dad. That's the thing.
I was talking about I was talking to my girlfriend's dad the other day about, like, for some reason he brought up like crew and rowing crew and the type of body builds that like do crew or whatever. And I was like, he's like, you actually have a good body for crew, long. And I was like, yeah, the only crew people I know are the Winklevoss twins. They went to my high school, and they were tall, lean guys. They were built like pretty much like me, a little bit taller, but like tall, lean dudes. And he was like, that's interesting. They went to your high school. Huh, that's interesting. Then like 4 days later, we're in the car. He's like, so I Wikipedia'd the Winklevoss twins. And I was like, why? Like, I was literally just talking about how they were built as dudes. They're in crypto now. And I was just like, this is it. We had a conversation about crew body types. You spent the next 4 days Wikipediaing the Winklevoss twins.
I didn't know you went to the same high school.
Yeah, that's correct.
Like, what class were they?
They were 2 years below me, I believe. I believe they were sophomores when I was a senior.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
I thought you were going with, when you said crew, the only crew I knew, I thought you were going to say 2 Live Crew to throw him for a ringer.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What? I was Wikipediaing
No, I mean,
the 2 Live Crew."
I know a lot of different crews. The only thing I know about rowing crew, though, I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. I was like, the only people I know who ever rode crew for real were these 2 dudes. Oh, that's interesting. Cut to 72 hours later. Hey, want to talk about the Winklevoss twins Wikipedia page? No.
Is that a dad thing, or is that a, hey, we have technology, we can fall down?
Yeah, but I think it's, you know what I think it is? I think it's like I think it's the crossover between like the tech age of having Wikipedia and the people who like are old enough to like be like, can you imagine if I always just had an encyclopedia on hand, so every time somebody could fucking brought something up, I could look it up? Because like kids, they don't give a shit.
I was like, that's
like,
us. That's us. You're talking about us, like our age.
I know. I'm talking about us, and I'm also talking about obviously people older than us who also have phones.
Yeah. No, I was reading something because I was reading a story about, like, you know, millennials. They say, everyone, we've debated this, but like they say is like 1980 to 96, and it's like I'm 81, and they're saying like now the quote unquote geriatric millennials are facing reality of being old and gray hair and all the things that, you know, I'm experiencing. But it was funny thinking, like, the thought of me having a relation to somebody born in 96 isn't really the same, because the internet came to my house when I was in high school.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a window there of elder millennials and like the last of Gen X that is like its own thing. And I think there's a name for that. Like there's like a 4-year window or something like that, like 78 to 82 or something like that. It's like there's a window of like what that era is, that subsection of the things. Because, you know, I'm 79. So like by definition, I guess the end of Gen X. But I'm always like, well, I do love Pearl Jam. So that's very Gen X of me. But I don't spend my time talking about how Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, because Bill Laimbeer would murder people today. So that's very not Gen X of me.
Well, I'm going to hop in the segue of the Jordan talk with
is this a segue into the NBA?
A little Devin Booker talk.
Ooh, Devin Booker is greater than Michael Jordan. Let's do some fucking turn on the TikTok camera, as Bill Simmons says.
Well, here's the thing. The efficiency which he's performing right now is kind of next level. And one, I don't think it's getting the attention it probably deserves. I know it's the second round. They've only played 2 series. But when you're averaging 36.8 points a game on 61.7% shooting throughout an entire playoffs, again, we're a series and a half in. It's like I saw just a quick headline, and I didn't even want to watch the video. It was Kendrick Perkins saying he's like a young Kobe. No, he's not. Kobe's never played at this efficiency. They're not even close.
No.
Not even sniff the efficiency of what Devin Booker's doing. So don't disrespect him.
But people can't, like, Devin Booker is not a modern NBA guard in that all those points are not coming on threes. He's getting the basket a lot. He's shooting in the mid-range a lot. And people just cannot, like, people are like, their brains just like, last guy shoot a mid-range, Kobe Bryant. Fucking total freak out. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Kobe, I would say Kobe hasn't had, I would bet that Kobe hasn't had as many efficient playoff games in his career, as many playoff games as efficient and heavily scoring in his career as Devin Booker has had this playoffs. Do you think Kobe had, like, what's Devin Booker averaging for the playoffs? 37?
36.8.
So do you think Kobe has 6 or 8 or, yeah. Do you think Kobe Bryant has 6 36-point playoff performances where he shot 60% and over?
I mean, he doesn't have one. I'm serious. I'd be shocked if he had won. I have his playoff stats right in front of me. You know, his 3 highest playoff points per game is 32.1, 32.8, 30.1. But when it comes to that's the thing about Devin Booker is the field goal percentage. Again, the efficiency.
This series, I mean, I said it. The reason it's not getting attention as much as attention is precisely what I said leading into this round. Despite the fact that in actuality, it might be the best series in terms of talent. It might be the best series in terms of like the team that comes out of this might have the best chance of winning the fucking championship. In terms of all the things on paper, from a basketball casuals standpoint, for people who don't know the game that well, it's the least interesting series.
Well, I probably fall into that because I saw the 2-0 lead and I said, "Oh, I think."
Well,
this is
dude,
done.
you know what? The second you said that last episode, I was like, do I tell Ruther? Like, this is something I've been thinking about ever since. I go, do I even mention to Ruther like that Denver's fucking road like record is pretty shit? That like, you know, we're talking about like this could easily be a 2-2 0. But you going, it's over. I was like, it's so on brand for the Ruther. When you said that, I was almost like, oh, it's gonna be 2-2. Like I'm almost certain of it now.
Yeah, and here we are.
Yeah. Can you say? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. We can save it for later, but I'm going to say the Knicks are done. Preview to the Knicks series. But during that talk, I'm going to need you to say it too, because it might be our only hope.
Yeah. Well, I'm still not sure on that one as far as saying anything's done, especially after what happened here. But this series is totally up in the air. Here's the line on Booker. He's leading all playoff participants in points per game, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage.
Yeah, it's bananas. It's his full-on fucking welcome to the big time. Like, he's been a great player for a lot of years now, but in terms of just doing it at a level that really we haven't seen in a long time from fucking anybody. Like, the most interesting part of the I don't want to say the most interesting part, but the thing that makes this series so special is the year's 2023. We have a conference semifinal series, and Kevin Durant is the third best player in that series.
Yeah.
I know he's had injuries. I know he's changed teams, but it's not like Kevin Durant's not playing well. Kevin Durant's playing great, but Kevin Durant is not a top two player in that series. And it's not fucking close. The two best players in that series are a level above most of the league, but they're certainly a level above Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant's playing great.
Well, here's the thing about I would say if you watch a Jokic and a Devin Booker from just a purely aesthetic standpoint, I would call this, and a lot of times I feel the same way if you watch like a Warriors game, if they're playing how they should, a beautiful form of basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone got hung up on the Jordan, and I'm not trying to throw a tug on her, but that was a discussion of Jordan's game is it's beautiful to watch. Like,
yeah,
it's
the back to the basket, smacking guys, putting your ass in them, backing up, put back, ball doesn't move for 10 seconds, turn around, Jay. So exciting.
But like this is a fluid, beautiful game to watch played at this level, especially if you like scoring. Now, obviously, Jokic had 50 points last night, but I'm saying Devin Booker is scoring at such a high level, but also effortlessly, whatever, the word I'm trying to say.
Yeah. You did not say effortlessly.
Yeah, the struggle is real. I was not fluid at all with how I said that. But my point is,
you said effortlessly like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant would get their points.
Yes. I'm back in, and I finally finish, and
You didn't get it out, but a ref blew a whistle halfway through the word, and now you get to go to the free throw line for a reset.
So it's like, for anybody not watching, that'd just be my piece of advice.
And that game, even like the game last night was the best game in the playoffs by far. There were so many times where the lead ballooned, and yet you kind of knew with the speed that the game was being played at that really an 8-point lead is 2 possessions and 2 possessions, and you're like, this game is again a 1-point game, or a 2-point game, and it's like anytime a game's 2, 3, 4 points, it's like it doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, even you're talking about leads that are ballooning to like 10, 11 points. Like, we're 2 possessions away from this being like absolutely anybody's game. And that's just one stop, and it's crazy. Jokic plays so well. Obviously we have the altercation with the owner that we'll go into, but Jokic plays so well, and Booker and Durant, like it's the kind of game where you look at the big 3 in the game's numbers, and if you look at any other basketball game generally, if anybody does what one of those guys do, you're almost guaranteed that that's going to be a win. And meanwhile, like for Jokic to put up those numbers and lose, and Booker to put up those numbers in the first couple games and lose, it's like it's nuts.
Yeah.
No, because really, if you look around the series, it's like when Jimmy Butler has his go off games,
they win.
When Harden night on, night off, win. Like
Anthony Davis, night on, win.
Yeah.
Yeah, night off, lose. For sure. The altercation was pretty wild. Like the altercation with the owner. Well, first of all, I'm going to pull up the clip because I'd like to just have it there as we discuss it. He goes out, and here's the thing. We obviously have a massive flop.
Yes.
Like next level flop by the Sun owner.
Yeah.
What is
the arm
name?
Throwing the arms up?
Yeah. Matashiba?
Yeah.
So he throws the arms up, he flails. He's also holding on to the ball. If you watch it, dude, he's not trying to give the ball up. Now, is Jokic being aggressive to get the ball back? Yeah. But if you watch it here, he's just holding on to the ball.
Yeah.
I love what Jokic did. In fact, this has changed my fandom of this series. I didn't really have a dog in this fight. I am full-fledged rooting for Denver now.
I mean, listen, I am.
Tell me you don't like seeing a billionaire get shoved.
Oh, I mean, first of all, I love it. Second of all, I agree with you. Like, listen, there's absolutely no innocent parties here. I mean,
Correct.
Jokic does shove him.
Correct.
Jokic does go grabbing for the basketball when, like, I don't know why. Like, this isn't like FIBA ball where he can just, like, once he gets a hold of the ball, he can just, like, send it into Pablo Prigioni for a fast break off of while a guy's still in the stands. Like this, it's not like we're in a rush to get the game started again. But the bottom line is the douche owner in his fucking, in his bomber jacket. Dude, you're in Phoenix in May. Like, what? You have your jacket on, just sitting there in your bomber. Like, what are you doing? Top Gun cosplay? Like. And then the tucking the ball under the arm like he's the kid in the program who's not allowed to fucking fumble. Like, what are you doing? It's total douche owner behavior. And I like that Jokic goes in and tries to get the ball, even though that was kind of, he certainly escalated it by doing that. I would have liked to see Jokic just go in and punch the ball out of his hands instead of trying to grab it from him. But he goes to try to get the ball. It is kind of an aggressive, but when the guy doesn't let him take it, When you have an NBA player there who wants the ball and you don't let him take it, now I'm like, anything goes. Yeah, fucking shove him. And such a flop.
Such a flop.
You know, he played basketball at Michigan State, right?
Yeah, he's a walk-on at Michigan State.
Yeah. You know who like classic white point guard taking the charge flop. He's like, it's like if Steve Wojciechowski fucking owned a basketball team.
I know. No, for sure. It's and here's the thing. These, like in this instance, we talk about the refs a lot, but it's the same thing where you're trying to become involved with the game, man. Like, be Cuban, be Ballmer. They can be lunatics in their own regard. They're not becoming involved with the actual game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when you agree?
And he's still like the bottom line is like, just take the ownership thing out of it. He's still a fan. Like, give up the ball, sit down. Like, if this was the guy who went after Russell Westbrook in the luxury suite, we'd be like, bro, sit the fuck down. Or like, what? Imagine if it was a Raptors game and if it was Drake, he'd be getting absolutely destroyed today. They're like, bro, you don't play in the NBA. Take your fucking jersey off and sit down.
Well, that's what Jokic actually said, and I'll play his response. Jokic kept calling him a fan, and obviously he's directly taking a dig at him, but he's also speaking truth. It is a fan. Like, you're sitting courtside. You're a fan, man. You might own the team, but you're still kind of a fan, and that's what Jokic said afterwards, which I love. Like, first of all, Jokic is terrifying.
Yeah.
I was like, you hear him talk, and I
like the idea, by the way, of this guy, the owner, Matt Ishbia or whatever, like, he's going to wake up tomorrow in a John Wick scene. The two Jokic brothers are going to be in his house with his fucking dog. And they're going to be like, oh, now we hold your dog like you hold the ball. Come take it from us, maybe. You get worse than elbow to throat.
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking of. I was going, where are
like, can you imagine tomorrow morning you're just in some palatial Scottsdale mansion and you wake up to Hasbulla next to you and he's like, oh, what's up now? And then the Jokic brothers are like, we're going to eat your dog.
So he told me I was elbowing the fan. So, but the fan put the hand on me first. So I thought the league's supposed to protect us or whatever. So, but maybe I'm wrong. So we will see.
Did you happen to know who the fan was?
He's a fan of. He's on the. I know who he is, but he's a fan, isn't he?
I love this. Right?
Yeah.
He's ready to say owner. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, he refuses.
Doesn't want to give him the props that he's the owner.
He's been in a fucking Eastern European detective's fucking investigation before. He like knows. He's like, I would like to see a lawyer. They're like, but do you know who it was? He's like, a fan. I believe he fan. Did you know his own? No, I mean, he could be. We all own something. I own house. I own car. He owns something. I don't know. He owned courtside seats. I know that.
He's sitting
Phoenix Suns owner.
Sitting on the courts, and he's a fan, isn't he?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that he's whoever it is, and he's a fan. He cannot influence the game by holding the ball.
Do you worry that this may lead to a fine or suspension or anything?
Why?
Like that? Just if the NBA official said that he thought you shoved him.
Mm-hmm. So, but his hands on me, so they're not going to protect me. They're going to protect the fan.
The fan.
No, not me as a person, but I'm talking about as a player.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do whatever, of
my
course.
favorite part of this
they don't
is
care, but
when they go, are you worried about being suspended? And in his head, he goes, for being 345 pounds and throwing elbow to neck of small person? Yeah, I'd probably get suspended. And then but instead he answers, why? I think you know why. I think we all know what the question is about. The question is about you fucking throat slamming a guy with your elbow who you take shits bigger than. I have a feeling Nikola Jokic owns a dog bigger than Matt Ishbia.
Yeah, he probably does.
He's like, what? For what? Because fan, neck, elbow, neck, butt, my elbow? Come on. How about protecting my elbow? I thought NBA protect elbow. No, NBA protect throat of fan. Okay, agree to disagree.
I think they're supposed to protect players.
Were you surprised that he didn't just hand you the ball? I mean, that's what I expected maybe would happen. The fan would.
Even if he didn't, I was trying to rip the ball, and so he didn't let go. So he's influencing the game, I think. I think he's supposed to get kicked out if he's influencing the game.
I love that.
I love that. I think that's my favorite line too. Like he's presupposing that like who would kick out the owner? The owner kicks out the owner. Shouldn't whoever be in charge of this arena kick out fan man? Oh, he is in charge of the arena. Yes, I know, but you know how, like maybe security overrule or something. Take bad man, put him outside.
I love that he keeps saying influence the game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's going to influence it that much, man. It's not going to affect the game that much. I do want to know what the Jokic brothers, we've not heard from them since that one incident.
Yeah.
Like, where'd they go?
Oh, they're in that guy's garage waiting for him to come home in his car. No, stay in car. It's better this way. We do not need blood in the garage. So much more to clean up. If you stay in car, we burn car. No one knows. That's better for you.
Do we now? This is obviously a big incident. You don't really ever see this with a owner.
You know our favorite part of coming to Phoenix? So much desert. So many holes in desert. This is not Denver. The rocks, the Rockies, everything rocky and rubbly. No, here, look, this basically big graveyard. Nothing here. You live with cactus now.
Do you think this will affect the series?
Yeah. Well, first of all, do you think he's getting suspended?
They can't suspend him. No way.
They can't suspend him.
He's too big. He's too big. He's too important.
I think so, but I don't know, man. The NBA is crazy. The NBA's done fucking wilder shit.
I know they have, but again, they're both culpable. He was over aggressive, but he also held onto the ball like a douche and he flopped like a douche. Like they're both at fault here. Now, Matasheba said he doesn't want him suspended.
Good.
So he's on record today saying don't suspend him.
Good.
I looked him up. Speaking of Wikipedia, I had to. I was like, where'd he get his money? Well, daddy's company. No surprise, whatever. It's like he took over CEO of, big mortgage company. So I don't know, but I'm here for it because now the intensity level, the ante of this series is only going to be more high profile. They go to Denver. I'm sure the Jokic brothers will be there. Or are they partying? I don't know. Who knows what they're doing?
Yeah. They're like, we will be back in 2 days. We'll see you in Denver. We must go pick up Hashbula. It's not illegal for a small boy to make threat. No one take it seriously, but it's very serious.
So we're locked at 2-2. We got 3 games left. Denver has home court.
Yeah.
Any predictions?
I think Denver wins this series. I think Denver wins this series for a couple. I mean, now listen, I think this series can go either way because, when you can get games, I don't think we've seen the Durant game yet. Do we have the Durant game? But I think this Denver, so much better at home than on the road. Not that I'm saying the Suns can't steal a game in Denver, but you look at that game last night and you look at the game 3. You're getting these performances. Now, again, you get the performance from Jokic last night, but so far it's, you have the Murray performance in game 1 and they win. It's like, I think they're going to be that much more they're going to get that much more from the other guys at home. They have home court advantage. I mean, I could see it going 7, but I could also see it going 6. Like, I just think Jokic is like, even when he's not having the huge game, he just affects the game so much. The passing, everything running through him. And I think if you're getting 53 points, like the idea that he got 53 and they lost, it's just, to me, I don't know. I just think they're deeper. I think they're going to go back home and probably, go up 3-2. And then it's and then you got to have a 2-game winner take all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think it's Denver, but I mean, I'm glad that this series has turned this way. Like,
yeah,
it's the most talent in terms of it's the most top heavy talent in terms of the series, and you love to see that.
So sticking
and guys
with
in
the
their prime, like we're not talking about Steph, Clay, AD, LeBron, like the names are bigger there, but like
they're not
these
that
guys
far off though.
No, but they are that far off in terms of like careers, but I'm saying in terms like these guys are all playing, like Booker and Jokic.
Sure, those
are
two
playing at elite levels,
Yeah.
Kevin Durant's certainly more in like the Harden, Steph, LeBron phase of his career.
Which, that series, as everyone says, we all know that Lakers Warriors series, kind of, you just follow how's Anthony Davis playing for the whole playoffs. That's going to be the Lakers. If Anthony Davis plays well, they're going to win or have a chance to win. If he doesn't, it's like game 2, they get smoked.
Yeah, and it's really kind of confusing.
I don't understand it.
At this point, it just seems like, I mean, here's what I think, because people seem to think it's an effort thing, and I don't think it's an effort thing. I think it's a head thing. I think if you watch closely, when he comes out and he gets a couple baskets, he's off and running. And when he comes out and he misses a couple, it just seems like he doesn't trust his shot. And he just when he misses a couple of, 8-footers, the next thing you know, he's short on every 8-footer. And I just think that he's for a big man who's getting most of his shots so close to the basket, you wouldn't expect him to be so streaky. But at the same time, I think the streakiness, I don't even think he's that streaky. I just think he gets a super, ding to his confidence when he misses a couple. Then he's afraid to take the one at the elbow. Then he's afraid to take the longer ones. Then he's short arming the ones that are closer. I don't even think it's a matter of a lack of effort, because he's generally pretty good, especially defensively.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You would think that his defensive, because he's obviously a great two-way player. So you would think that, hey man, even if I'm not having like a stellar offensive game, the effect he has defensively is so huge. You would think maybe, I'm off to a rough start, but I got to block, I got to steal, I'm affecting the shots of their players. You would think it would then just kind of carry over to pick up his offensive game if it was lagging. But I feel like it doesn't.
No, I just think he just gets so down offensively that you can tell it's really just the first couple shots for him. First couple shots go, he's reeling with confidence, and now all of a sudden he's like, ooh, it's one of my games. And it's like, dude, there's a ton of players, especially historically, the historic greats who have a bad first half or have a bad shooting quarter or have a bad whatever. I mean, and you just stick with it. I mean, that's like you shoot yourself out of it. Like, who gives a shit, dude? If you kind of tuck your tail between your legs and give up on this Lakers team with the roster they have, you guys are kind of done anyway. So why don't you at least go down swinging? But he just doesn't. His confidence just from game to game gets shot. But again, a lot of people are like, oh, He takes games off, and it's like I don't think he does. I think he just has a real confidence problem when it's not going his way right out of the gate.
Well, I think, like I said, I thought this would be a 7-game series. I think my head is telling me the Warriors even it up tonight, and we kind of have this back
in
and
LA.
forth. I don't know. That's a good point. I mean, LeBron had some. Okay, so LeBron last game had some moments. Talk about talk about defensively. I know people were like, stop stroking him off, but like he had some moments.
I'm not going to stop stroking him off. I'm fucking not going to stop. Let me just can I talk about LeBron for a second? And if this isn't a stroking off thing, this is just no one has ever done it like this. We see guys who get older and just become a shell of themselves. LeBron is galaxy brain basketball like I've never seen. The idea, like he doesn't even give a shit at this point that ESPN's going to put out a full tweet graphic after the first quarter. LeBron has gone 375 playoff games and never taken a shot in the first quarter. The idea that anybody thinks LeBron isn't taking a shot because it's like this isn't by design is so fucking stupid. LeBron, like I've said, this whole playoffs is doing something I've never seen before. He's literally conserving energy from play to play, from quarter to quarter, from game to game, because he's too old to be like, hey, I'm going to lead every team in points, blocks, steals, assists, and rebounds for 4 fucking series, and we're going to win the championship. He can't do it. He can't do it anymore. So now he's literally like, you look at the way that game started. D'Angelo Russell's hot. LeBron's sitting there going, great. This is actually great. He comes out like this. I'm going to take this whole fucking quarter off.
But
and then the rest of the game, now suddenly every time there's a long rebound and it gets sent to me, I'm just going in transition and getting fouls. The idea, like I almost put up a how it started versus how it's going. How it started, ESPN, the only people I've ever seen that could somehow make 2 tweets become one so that the picture could be this long. Never taken 0 shots in a thing versus how it's going. Finishes at 21, 8-8, taking a quarter off.
Did you see the? Hold on a second. Did you see the chase down block?
Yeah.
But like that was like peak 2015, 2016.
Yeah, because in 2015, 2016, he could just do it the whole fucking time. And here he's like, he's conserving. The reason he's able to do that at fucking 38 is because he's taken full possessions off. He's taking quarters off. And he's got a streaky team in AD. He's got a historically streaky AD, historically streaky D'Angelo Russell. You've got Austin Reeves, who looks like he's just going to be a fucking career streaker. Like a team that he's like, oh, well, if we come out and we're playing okay, let these guys do it. And then when they get cold or when they got to go to the bench or whatever, then on every miss, get it to me, and I'll go down the floor and I'll get fouled or get a layup.
Well, this pass, let me see if I can pull this up.
Deflected by Davis, and he
This
keeps
one.
it alive. Anthony Davis doing everything for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Schroeder inside.
That was the one I liked a lot. The just the laser. Where are we at?
The
Third quarter.
The almost full half court laser chest pass.
And then sadly Schroeder misses the layup. But it was one of those when I was watching, I was like, holy shit, man. This is pretty impressive to watch. Now, it's a must-win game for the Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
You're not winning, you go down 3-1 to the Lakers. You're just not. So I wanted to pull up a little.
By the way, I don't know. The ratings for the Saturday night Lakers-Warriors game, not out yet. But the Game 2 Lakers Warriors game. I saw a couple stats. Record breaking, most watched cable television playoff game, most watched second round game ever on a fucking Thursday or whatever it was at 9:30, 9 o'clock on the East Coast.
Was that game 2?
Yeah.
Well, it's must see. I mean, for me, like the truth is, like realistically, if I'm going to be fully honest here, I watch most of these games, but I'm also like, a lot of these, I'm not catching the full game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my schedule and a kid and the East Coast time, time difference. But like the Laker game is like the Laker Warriors for me is pretty must see.
I mean, dude, Jack Nicholson came out of 2 years of fucking hiding.
Yeah. Where did he come from?
The world was like, Jack Nicholson is dead and we'll never see him again. And then he was like, what's happening? And they're like, Lakers, Warriors. LeBron's a Laker now. Lakers, Warriors saying, give me my jacket.
You know what I was obsessing over? Or my girlfriend and I were obsessing because she actually likes watching the Lakers games too. We were obsessing over those 2 little girls at the end of the bench. I don't know if you noticed last game. We kept being like, whose seats are these? It was like 2 teenage girls, and they're sitting right. If you're facing the bench, they're sitting to the left of LeBron, and LeBron's talking to Anthony Davis. And we just kept being like, who are these girls? Like, I'm sure there was an adult, I hope so, on the left of them. I didn't see an adult ever in the picture, but it's like 2 little girls. And the one girl's like, the way she was sitting, her knees were almost like going into LeBron. It was almost like, yeah, give him some room, okay?
She was female spreading.
She was female spreading. What are those seats? I was debating that. Are those $10,000? Are those $10,000?
Yeah. For that game?
That's what I thought.
Dude, it's fucking it's $1,800 to get in and sit in the fucking high 200s right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I go
like, I bet you those seats are $10,000 like for regular, for real. For like, let's say you tried to go to get that from like a ticket broker, I bet you it's 25.
Yeah, I was like, who's sitting here? Whose seats are these? But I want to pull up a little action for tonight on Prize Picks. Third balls, if you haven't downloaded Prize Picks, download right now. All first-time users that use promo code DIRTY will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So if you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. And they have all the sports, NBA playoffs, regular Major League Baseball season, NHL playoffs, you name it. I like the assist, points, and rebounds combo. Like that seems to be like a good combo, right? So I like that. I'm going to pull that up here now. Jimmy Butler, ya boy, you're going against 40.5 points, rebounds, assists.
We just did this last series, and this was the play I liked for Jimmy Butler. Yeah, give me the more than.
More than.
Yeah.
I like that too. Your boy, LeBron James. 41.5 combined.
Give me the more than. We're getting a LeBron game tonight, right? We're getting 25, 8, and 8.
Yeah. Now, conversely, Anthony Davis, 41.5.
I mean, you go 20 and 15. I don't know. I'm gonna go a less than because he had the big game last game.
Yeah.
Ride the Anthony Davis roller coaster.
Okay, your boy, your real boy, Jalen Brunson.
Okay, this is points, rebounds, and assists.
35.
Give me the more than. Let's go.
Right.
We got to have a big game.
Yeah, I know. So I would think that way too. So third balls, go ahead right now and make sure you download Prize Picks today and play daily fantasy sports with us. Make sure you use promo code DIRTY when you sign up. So must win for you guys tonight.
You think? I think the season's over. I know everybody's like, oh, gloom and doom Knicks fan, you're whatever. The bottom line is there's so many issues right now with this Knicks team. In no particular order. In fact, let's go in like some sort of reverse order so we can build up to the big things. But what I said about the Kings Warriors series is why I thought in the end the Kings is a lack of experience. There are Knicks who have playoff experience, but the guys that they're needing to step up, the Quickleys, who's been dog shit this whole playoff, the Obi Toppin, who we'll get to in a bit, not even getting that many minutes because fucking Tom Thibodeau's getting coached out of his own shorts. But like the young guys and the guys that don't have a ton of experience and the guys that aren't necessarily stars, not stepping it up. And I think it's just a lack of experience and the lights are a little bit too bright for the Quickleys and the Toppins and even the Josh Hart in terms of the shooting a little bit. You have these guys on the Heat, undrafted nobodies whose fucking names no one knows. And they like every fucking Heat player ever in the Pat Riley era just goes, hey, you never heard of me? Well, you're about to. And with guys out, like Hero out on the fucking Heat, and you got other guys that are just stepping up and fucking canning their threes. Meanwhile, the guys, people are arguing, oh, Emmanuel Quickley, 6th man of the year. Oh, Obi Toppin, blah, blah, blah. It's like these guys, just the light's a little bit too bright for them. And that's okay. That's okay because, you would hope that they break out of it. But again, it's also gaining experience. They probably don't do this in their next postseason appearance. But then you go to the star situation. Jalen Brunson is fantastic. I feel great about the future of the Knicks because of Jalen Brunson and Jalen Brunson alone. But when you go around the league and you go around the teams that have guys that are still in it, I mean, you got Tatum and Brown. You got Embiid and Harden. You got Stephen Clay. Clay's not the player he used to be, but fuck, we got a huge game 2 out of him. You got Jokic and Murray. You got Booker and KD. The only team that doesn't have a fucking 1-2 is the Heat. Jimmy Butler is sort of on his fucking own in terms of the star power. And the Knicks are supposed to have Brunson and Randall fucking stinks. He stinks. I've said it as long as he's been on the New York Knicks. I said it from before they fucking traded for him, and I'll say it again now. The Knicks have a Julius Randle problem, and the problem is they need him to be good. The problem is they need him to be good. The problem is they treat him as for the majority of his time in the last 3 years, as their first star. Only now, literally 2 weeks left in the season when he gets hurt. The only reason we aren't going Julius Randle alpha problem the whole time is because he got hurt and Jalen Brunson fucking took over down the stretch at the end of the season. But the Knicks have a Julius Randle problem. When he's shit, he's so shit. And when he's good, he's still ball stopping good. Like Julius Randle, when you look around, is not in the class of any of those guys we just mentioned. But the Knicks need him to be in the class of those guys to be mentioned for them to be a great team. And he's just fucking not. The ball stops when he gets there. If he's not hitting his shots, it's a disaster. He then goes into fucking Anthony Davis fucking taking the rest of the game off mode. Then he's, beefing with Cody Zeller. Like, you are the company you keep. You're beefing with Cody Zeller. Like, Julius Randle is fucking bad right now. And the problem is he thinks he's a goddamn superstar. And the main problem, and this segues into the third problem, is Tom Thibodeau thinks he's a fucking superstar. There was one point in the last game where I looked at the minutes and Julius Randle's playing like dog shit. And he's played 30 minutes to Obi Toppin's 5. At some point, you got to be like, hey, man, this isn't working. We're getting blown out of the fucking game. Julius Randle stinks. Be forward thinking. Even if we lose this fucking series, how about getting Obi Toppin some fucking minutes? How about seeing what he can do? Because he can't do worse than Julius Randle. Bad attitude, bad play, starting fucking beefs with people. Like, Thibodeau's getting coached out of his fucking, like, Eric Spoelstra is playing chess and Tom Thibodeau's playing fucking Parcheesi. He's playing fucking Yahtzee out there. He's playing like fucking Mousetrap. Like, we used to play Monopoly as a kid, and my brother John would do this thing when he would lose a Monopoly. He would call it natural disaster, and he would literally like suck up all the houses and hotels in his mouth and then just spit them all over the board and be like, game's over. That's what Tom Thibodeau's doing right now. Tom Thibodeau's my brother playing Monopoly. He's just like, game over. I don't want to play anymore. He's getting coached out. And to be totally honest, when you look at Budenholzer getting canned, Nick Nurse getting canned, Vogel winning. We have guys who win championships get canned. And we're going to let Tom Thibodeau just go, hey, my strategy is the 5 guys I trust play 44 minutes. And if we're getting our ass kicked, I don't change. I don't adjust. And we get fucking routed. I think this series is over. And goddamn it, I hope I'm wrong. But I think this series is fucking over. I love Jalen Brunson. This team needs to be Jalen Brunson's. I'd trade Julius Randle for fucking dimes on the dollar. The future of this team is not Brunson and Randle. It's not. I can't believe we extended him. This is exactly what I expected from him. Randle, everybody's fucking bonering out. Like, even the game they beat the Heat in late in the season, Julius Randle hits a fucking fall away 3-pointer to beat them. It's like, dude, it was a terrible ball stopping, horrific possession that he just happened to hit the shot. That doesn't mean it's fucking good basketball. Every single time the Heat come out of a timeout, they get a bucket. Meanwhile, you cut to fucking video of Tom Thibodeau during timeouts. It's like, don't let them out hustle you. I fucking can't stand it. It's shades of fucking his former head coach that he was the assistant of, Doc Rivers. Anytime you cut to a coach and they're not talking about strategy, they're just going, you got to try harder. What is this? Remember the fucking Titans? Shut up.
Did I catch a Mousetrap reference in there?
Yeah.
So.
I think this is the series that's the most over.
Well, the other one,
and it makes me furious.
The other one's 2-2. We have a nice little back and forth going on. I still don't have too much faith in the Sixers. I thought they were going to blow yesterday's game.
But they have a James Harden who does the Anthony Davis thing, but like the peak. Listen, it's kind of crazy that we're talking about it, but again, you know, the thing with James Harden and Embiid and the Sixers is, and we saw it during that game, and PJ Tucker had to fucking get in Embiid's face and be like, bro, take over. Is like, it is not, like, you know, not to make it the MVP discussion, but Embiid is not Jokic. He gets the ball in the post. They bring the double. He's not finding a guy on every fucking play to give it a wide open 3. Now, in his, you know, to praise him, he did on the final fucking play, which is great. Not only did he find somebody, but he found James Harden, who is a former MVP and still has great games in him and is still an elite shooter when he's fucking open on a short corner 3. So props to Embiid for doing that. But you look at this series, it's like at least the Sixers down the stretch were like, we're going to give it to our guy and we're going to let him do his thing. And we're going to have some sort of play where if somebody comes off somebody. Meanwhile, the Celtics are just like, we have timeouts, but we don't call a play. We'll let Jason Tatum take it down to 5 seconds before he goes to the basket. And then, I mean, it was real college fucking end of March Madness game shit. Pass the ball at the last second, and you don't even get a shot off. You don't even get a fucking shot off.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go into this thing where it's like Jason Tatum's afraid to shoot, because I don't think that's true. But we've sort of done a couple things over the years, and we've done two versions of it. And this is sort of the third option. It's like you get the Kobe Bryants and the Michael Jordans who they're going to take the shot no matter who's on them. It's going to be double teamed. It's going to be triple teamed. Obviously, we have a ton of Jordan passes for wins. Like those are, but historically, you have those kind of guys, and people don't mind when they miss because you're like, ball in your best player's hands, and he fucking missed, and so what? Then you have the LeBron James, who you put the ball in his hands, and he sometimes passes on what would be, for him, a relatively easy shot, but it's in favor of a guy just like with a wide open look. He's like, hey, he's a professional basketball player too, and he's wide fucking open. Why wouldn't I pass him the ball? And then you have a situation like this that we've now found Tatum in a few times in the playoffs, but certainly a number of times in his career, which seems to have that, he's wearing Kobe Bryant t-shirts and he's wearing Kobe Bryant shoes and he's doing the Kobe Bryant thing, and I'm going to take this. And then instead of forcing it, or instead of finding a fucking guy who's wide open, it's some panic pass at the end of a fucking clock where now somebody's hoisting one up, open or not, but they're hoisting one up with no fucking time on the clock. It's a rushed three. Marcus Smart taking your game winner, game tire at the end of overtime and regulation is terrible play. It's just terrible. Where's Jaylen Brown if you're going to have a second option? Where's the guy who's, crashing the boards and you're putting the shot up with 2.5 seconds to go, and if you get a miss, you get a putback? Like, the idea that you're going to take this clock down, do the one-on-one thing, and then chicken out with 1 second left and not get a shot off, it's just terrible. And I don't think it's a matter of Jaylen Brown, I don't think it's a matter of Jason Tatum being like afraid of the moment. I think he's right. Like, he's covered, but have a better, you either have to have then the wherewithal to do the LeBron James thing and be like, I know where I'm going if it doesn't go well, or just be like, fuck it, I'm going to put it up. But the panic pass, who's open, is not the space you want to be in. Because Marcus Smart, he hasn't hit the shot at the end of regulation. I mean, you could see from his body language that shot was not going in.
So you think the Heat series is basically, with your Knicks, is over? It has me thinking, like, do the Heat, I know I keep not giving them a chance, but like, do the Heat stand a chance against either of those other two teams if they make it through?
Yes, they do.
All those like no names.
They have a chance because the names is on the sideline. I mean, I was not a Spoelstra like stan over the years, but like I was just like, oh, kind of overrated. I think we're giving him a lot of props for it. But like, again, when you look at what LeBron James is doing right now for the Lakers, like, and this is not a diss of Darvin Ham. I think this is just the way it is. I think LeBron James is coaching the Lakers more than Darvin Ham's coaching the Lakers. And I think that a lot of the SPO growth came on those teams. And I think LeBron James is a basketball genius. And I'm not saying, I don't think LeBron James was coaching the Heat more than SPO was. But I think when you look at the time that was there, I think the growth you see from Eric Spoelstra, from having Pat Riley above him in the hierarchy and having a guy like LeBron James below him in terms of the hierarchy because he's the star player on the team. I just think he sat in that middle spot and really became an elite head coach. Every time they come out of timeouts, they get a bucket. Meanwhile, you got a Doc Rivers situation, which everybody knows how I feel about Doc Rivers. I mean, the guy's been coaching in the league since fucking 99 or something like that. The guy's got over 1,000 wins. And we know him for playoff meltdowns and somehow mismanaging the original big three into one title. And then you got a first-year, second-year head coach that is drawing up college panic plays at the end of games. Like, I think you have a decided coaching advantage. Not to mention, yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lack of star power, the talent deficiency from those teams. But if you look at the Celtics to the Sixers are so top heavy. The Celtics have a decided talent advantage in that series, and here we are.
What do you think of Bronny going to USC?
I mean, I sort of expected it.
So here's my thing about
why not UCLA though? Isn't LeBron in like Brentwood? Did he just was he like, I don't want to stay home? And it's like, dude, you're going like 8 more miles away.
Well, according to reports, he had it down to like SC, Ohio State. I forget who else. But like my thing is this.
Should have just gone to St. John's with Rick Pitino. LeBron comes over, fills that Julius Randle role. Knicks win a championship. Join him in the Garden. That's the way to finish a career. Where no one called me.
I think this whole situation with Bronny, and again, I don't follow high school basketball. I think he's got to be so overhyped because he wasn't rated that high, and then suddenly he catapulted They said, oh, but he got so much better. Like statistically, he's nothing insane at all. I think he's averaged like 13.5 points a game. My thing is like, how much of this is because of his dad? I assume a lot.
How much of what though?
His hype.
Yeah, but when you say his hype because of his dad, are you saying unfair hype, nepo baby hype?
Yes.
Or let me play devil's advocate a little bit. I don't think Bronny James is coming into the league and being the next LeBron James.
No.
Obviously, I don't think he's coming into the league and being a star. But is there a little bit of when we talk about? I mean, look at Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is Rick Brunson's son. Is there a little bit of this where it's like they say Bronny is an elite defender already? Is there any part of this where you're like, hey, man, if I take a chance on Bronny James, if he has like a fifth of his father's basketball acumen, is he like a legit backup guard?
Okay, like we're fine with that for the record. Like you're talking about a backup guard. All I'm saying,
listen, anybody going to college, like, dude, so many things happen from the like the All-American game to the NBA.
I just think, like, look, this is just me again basing it off nothing. I think a lot, like, he obviously has had a lot of hype around him because of his father. I just think, like, the idea that maybe I'm wrong, the idea that we're just assuming he's going to make it to the NBA, or I'll say with the nepotism stuff, the idea that he might not just make it just because of his dad. Like, he'll make it because of his dad, his old man. That's all I'm saying. Like, do we know? This is my question. Do we actually know his skill / talent level, or is that all lost because of his dad? That's all I'm saying.
I think at this point we know his skill level of LA high school prep basketball, which really doesn't matter. Like the idea of him, like, I think what's going to happen is Bronny James has as good a shot as anybody that has, elite genes and athleticism of going to college and figuring it out and going to the NBA. Is Bronny James the type of player who goes to the NBA after a year in college? Probably not. Does he this year after next year? Maybe because of his dad, but I also think LeBron James is smart. Like, I don't think Bronny James goes to SC for 1 year and then becomes an undrafted free agent signing in the NBA just to play with his dad. Like, playing Pac-12 college basketball, like, we're going to figure it out pretty fast, right?
Yeah. You know why? Bill Walton's going to be calling
the League of Champions, the Conference of Champions. Here he is, Bronny James, the kid, as they're calling him, the baby goat, little Billy Goat Gruff. You should grow a little goatee. Son of a goat. Little pygmy. I'm calling him the pygmy because he's a baby goat.
When did they go to the Big Ten?
SC goes to the Big Ten? USC's going to the Big Ten?
Yeah, and UCLA.
Dumb.
That's so dumb. Yeah, we talked about this, but I know it's confusing.
Oh no, I have a medical procedure done after every episode where we talk college sports to have that.
August 2nd,
brain
2024
is when they go to the Big Ten. So he'll have
one season under the belt.
One season here.
They're doing a documentary on Bill Walton. I know a couple of dirtballs tagged us.
Yeah, love it. 30 for 30, right?
Yeah. So we did have a call. You're talking about coaches. We did have a call. We had an NBA call about the firing of coaches because is it Buden or Budenholzer?
Budenholzer, but they call him Coach Bud.
Coach Bud was fired.
They call him not going to work here anymore. That's for sure.
Well, and we both said he deserved it.
And then we found out his brother died during the series, and I was like, okay, well, we can dial that back. And then they're like, no, we're firing him. And I was like, Jesus Christ, you're the Milwaukee Bucks.
I know. So we got to call about the NBA.
But to be fair, let me like, because I've hopped. If this is a fence, I've hopped on back and forth across this fence. If my brother died, I'd still know how many timeouts I had.
Shots.
I'm just saying, like, I think I actually am now on the side of it was wrong to fire him. Even though I was calling for him to be fired. I'm now on the side of it was wrong to be fired. Him. But at the same time, devil's advocate, I know how many timeouts I had.
Well, he is donezo. And we got a call about this stuff.
Super Dirtball Bribes here, guys. Something I really want to touch on and see what y'all's opinion is. Seems like the NBA is such a win now, what do you done for me now culture. I know we said the NFL is, but dude, 3 of the last 4 NBA champions, their coaches have been fired, from the Raptors to the Lakers coach to the Bucks coach now, which, I mean, this draws my question. Is it because the NBA is such an all-star driven team? Like, if you have one superstar, all-star on your team, you should be able to, make your conference finals, make it to the finals. Like, anybody can really win with that Bucks team because of Giannis, or anybody should be able to win because you have LeBron and AD. Like, is that why these coaches are just getting fired and replaced so quick? It's kind of crazy. Like, most sports, you win your title, you're safe for another 4 or 5 years just because you just won a championship. But it doesn't seem to be the case in the NBA. And I think that's just because such a superstar, all-star driven league where one guy can really change the game, unlike football, baby. Just get y'all's opinion on that. Stay dirty.
All right. So, again, we've seen the coaching carousel with recent champions. I don't know. Like here's the thing, man. I've always debated, internally, coaching in the how much does coaching really matter? I think a lot of it is maintaining players' egos. Now, you have great coaches who call plays. I think Brad Stevens was really good at calling plays. I'm just thinking of him off the top of my head. You have coaches who call plays, but I know for me, every time they show the coaches, I always kind of cringe. You reference Thibodeau because it's like
I think that
the idea of them being like, go out there and play harder. It's like, dude, you're saying it's the grown
I think
ass
that there's
man.
a couple. There's certainly tiers of coaching in the NBA. I think you have the elite coaches, which there's not that many of. I think you have the guys who are great motivators, great ego managers. I mean, Doc Rivers, again, has been coaching 24 years as like a guy who everybody likes and everybody's happy to play for, and I'll ride or die with coach, but like you're going to get out coached in every series that you go up against an elite head coach. And then you've got, just sort of shit coaches that, they have a philosophy or whatever, and the philosophy works for a little bit or works with certain talent, but then it doesn't work with other talent. And, I mean, like a guy like Steve Kerr is a great example of it. Like, in my opinion, still not an elite head coach, but like Spoelstra, like has grown as a coach, but also knows to like steal from people. Like he's like, I don't have like the best ideas, but I'm smart enough to know like that guy does and that guy does. Like Steve Kerr's been open about like my inbounds plays, my out of timeout plays. I just look around the league and fucking steal them. I steal from Brad Stevens. I steal from D'Antoni. I steal from Spoelstra. It's like, good. Okay. Be a good coach cover band. It's better than
But he's a prime example. Like, we're not going to know Kerr's level until he doesn't have those guys.
Sure.
Like, we'll
probably never know because he'll probably be like, I'm out too. Fuck him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we've seen Spoelstra with a super team and without one. And that's why he's changed our opinions, because he's learned, dude, he can coach, man. You get Jimmy Butler and a bunch of G League guys, and they're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals again.
I think to answer Bryson's question, he's absolutely right that it is a star-driven league. And I think that just like there's tiers of coaches, there's tiers of superstars. And with those superstars, there's windows. You look at Giannis. I mean, we called it. I mean, we titled the episode it, I think, that they were the fucking McCarthy Packers. It's like you get one with Giannis. You like this is Doc Rivers with the Celtics. Like if 10 years from now the Bucks have won, they did fail. Now, like I don't agree. Oh, was the season a failure? Like in the Giannis interview? No, but a decade could be a failure if you just get one. If LeBron ages out of the league and Steph and the Warriors age out and suddenly it's 2030 and Jokic has a couple of fucking titles and Tatum's got a couple titles and Giannis is sitting there with one. Yeah, it was a failure of a fucking decade. But so when you're looking at each situation, like the Lakers, they felt like they had a chance to change the coaching, shake it up, make one last run with the LeBron AD thing. And they did. The Bucks obviously are trying to figure out something that works with Giannis going forward. And I'm sure that those guys are talked to before those decisions are made, And if like, I'm not saying Giannis said fire coach, but I have a feeling if Giannis says, if you fire coach, I'm going to be fucking pissed, then they wouldn't fire him, Same goes for LeBron James. The interesting one is Nick Nurse. Who are we catering to here? Fred VanVleet? Like, you won a championship. Yeah, he won a championship when he had fucking Kawhi, but like they're still the Toronto Raptors, and they won a championship. What star? Like, who are we catering to up there? Oh, he lost the locker room. Good. Maybe he should. The locker room's not very good. Maybe lose everybody except for the fucking couple guys who can play and find a new locker room. Like,
I mean, he lost the locker room. Let's not forget. Siakam's walking around with a camcorder from 1995.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, those are the guys he's losing.
Yeah.
He's probably heading to Milwaukee, maybe, right?
You've lost. We know Nick Nurse lost the locker room because Siakam took off 2 games while he edited the Blair Witch Project 3. He's just in the locker room, snot bubbling out of his nose. He's like, "We lose today in Philly. It's not good out here. I'm scared."
Oh man. Yeah, I think Milwaukee might be his next move, maybe.
Well, listen, there's a shout out to all the new subscribers to my Substack. We were doing Knicks halftime happy hour. I gave out some derby picks. I hope you guys took my 1-2 derby pick and paired them with a third for a trifecta, because my 1-2 came 1-3. But Conrad, I think it was, in my Substack discussion said Nick Nurse to the Knicks would be great. And I was just like, wow, that would be fucking great, because Tibbs is getting fucking coached out of his goddamn shorts. But yeah, you're probably right. To Milwaukee seems more likely, because it's probably will happen sooner rather than later. And because the Knicks are dumb and they'll fucking extend Tibbs and they'll give Randall another extension while he's still on this extension.
And as far as the discussion, what have you done for me lately? I have no problem with that across sports. These guys make millions of dollars. I think money is important to keep in perspective here, because I don't care the job. If you're making millions of dollars per year and you're underperforming, why should you keep that job?
But my thing with coaching changes in sports is always, who are you going to hire? You better have, for me, it's always, you're going to find somebody better than Coach X. And that was my thing with Bill O'Brien. Yeah, I am. I'm going to teach a kid football over the weekend, and then he'll be the better coach than Bill O'Brien. Oh, are you going to find somebody better than Jason Garrett? Yeah, I am. I've trained my dog to sit, and now I will train my dog to be an offensive coordinator. But you look around the league, around football, around the NBA, certainly, it's like, who are the Raptors hiring that's better than Nick Nurse?
I don't know. It's a good question.
It'll be interesting to find out. But it's almost, to me, when you have those sort of situations, like if you're the Raptors, the fact that they didn't have that answer, that answer was, they're like, oh, this guy's available, let's go get him. The Hawks went out and got what's your boy's fucking name? Old cokehead Missouri coach, Missouri of Utah.
Oh yeah,
Quinn Snyder.
Quinn Snyder.
They were like, oh, Quinn Snyder's out there, let's go get Quinn Snyder. Like, they had a fucking plan, Toronto's like, Nick Nurse has lost the locker room. And then they're like, okay, everybody come in. It's like a fucking scene from Succession. Everybody came into the boardroom and somebody was like, Drake? And they're like, no, he's pretty rich. He probably doesn't want to coach the Raptors. They're like, okay, back to the drawing board. Who's a former player? Damon Stoudemire? Is he out there? And they're like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? Can we have a fucking plan?
The super fan?
Oh, the Raptor super fan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Jeff Goldblum was in Jurassic Park. He's tall, but he doesn't know anything about basketball.
Took me a second on that one. It's like Jeff Goldblum. Oh, yes. A dinosaur reference.
A raptor, specifically.
Yeah. I see what you did there. So I was watching the NHL playoffs, like I said.
I know.
And yeah, man, it's those games. I was thinking about what we're talking about. It really is like deflection after like there's not too many clean goals.
I know.
But we got a call. I referenced it earlier. Panthers up now 3-0.
Yeah.
So they're in control. But and I think this call is also
now, before you get this, I just want to know, since you're into the playoffs so much and your dad Wikipediaing, is the Kraken real, and does it live in the Pacific Northwest? Have you found out any references to the Kraken?
I haven't looked up the Kraken. I will, though.
It's a good rum, that's for sure.
Is it?
Yeah, I like the Kraken. Kraken black rum.
I took a different angle on the Kraken. I took the angle on the arena they're playing. I didn't realize that was the revamped Key Arena. Did you know that?
No.
I thought they built a new arena. So the old arena that the Sonics played in has been just completely redone.
Great.
Yeah. So that's the rabbit hole I fell down because it's got that funny name, right?
I don't know what's the name.
It's like God damn it, what is it? It is the Climate Pledge Arena.
Okay.
So these arena names I think they're all ridiculous. Not good looking uniforms, I think, either.
Ooh, I kind of like the Kraken uniform.
You like the Kraken unis?
Yeah, I don't necessarily love the color scheme, but I kind of like the Kraken K.
Well, we got a call, and I think this call it goes for NBA as well. It's a call regarding it's in particular to this Toronto Florida series, but I think it goes again across sports.
Hey, Joe and Andy, it's the number one dirt baller from South Bend, Indiana, Steven Dermer calling. So I was just curious as to what you guys think of this. So obviously in hockey, might be the same way in basketball, but the Panthers, they just finished their series against the Bruins on Sunday night, and then they went and played their whole new series on Tuesday. Granted, they knew who they were going to play multiple days ahead, but for the Maple Leafs, they had no idea. Of course, everybody thought it was going to be Boston. Turns out it wasn't, so they ended up having to play Florida. But do you think that it's more of an advantage of a team not having as much rest, but knowing the team that they're going to play against? Or does the team that has more rest, who's not really sure who they're going to play against until the 2 days before, as like the Maple Leafs, they only had a day and a half to really prepare for the Panthers instead of maybe they were preparing for the Bruins. But I mean, obviously maybe they prepare a little bit ahead of time for both, but just want to see what you guys think. Thanks, guys. Stay dirty.
So I think in this instance, when you're the underdog like Florida, like I think you do have an advantage.
Well, I don't think I hate to cut you off, and I don't know a ton about hockey, but I don't think if the Florida Panthers beat the Bruins in round one that they're the underdog. So
yeah,
let's start there.
Okay.
But also this is kind of a weird question because I mean Florida is certainly not they're in a fucking dogfight with the best team in history. I don't think there's any sort of preparation that's going on for like, well, if we win, then we know we have the Maple Leafs. Like, they're not fucking looking forward to the Maple Leafs at all.
Yeah, well, I think in sports, I mean, momentum is real. I know some people want to argue that it's not, but like, if you just come off this big series win, don't you want to play as quickly as possible because you have that confidence?
I don't know. I don't know how hockey. I have no idea.
Like, I don't know about rest. I don't know about rest. I'm just saying, like I don't know. You see it a lot in sports, right? A team sweeps somebody.
I don't think you want to rest especially long when you're playing well. But again, I don't know a ton about hockey, but I saw. You remember Sean Avery? He played on a lot of teams. Playing on Reds. I think he's got some sort of hockey podcast now. I keep seeing clips of it. And after the he must have some sort of like the guy's had a lot of beefs in his life, but he must have some sort of beef with the Maple Leafs. But he was like, I'm so glad Toronto gets to play Florida. Florida's gonna butt fuck them. He's just like, the Florida Panthers are gonna butt fuck the Maple Leafs, and I'm here for it. And I was just like, I'm seeing this after they're already down like a couple of games. Like, how did he fucking like? What would give him that? And he was just like certain of it. He was just like, they're gonna kick the shit out of them. And I was like, that's interesting take. And apparently he's right. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I think in basketball, for sure, like you don't want to go too long because you've got this rhythm going. Football, we've seen it where the bye week has hurt people, especially if they're good enough I don't think the bye week hurts as much as when teams are so good that they like rest guys in week 17 and 18, and then they have a bye week. And then you're like, oh, dude, you're basically taking a month off here. And in baseball, obviously, you want enough rest where your pitching gets lined up again, but you don't want so much rest where you're just sitting cold. So yeah, I think it's like a delicate balance where you want to rest. You want to get enough rest for the guys who need rest, but you want to play as quickly as you possibly can where everything's like back on schedule.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a fine line. You definitely don't want too much rest when you're playing, right? Because you get lethargic, and I think the rhythm
The
thing.
old Larry Bird on the sideline thing. Like he's got to lay down. He's got to fucking have a heat pad. Like you sit there, you just get stiff.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, it's like to think about yourself. Okay. If you're here's just the common thing for everybody. If you're doing yard work for 3 hours and you come in, you eat a nice lunch. I'm just saying that food coma kicks in. You're like, I don't want to go back outside.
Can we call this episode the Toronto Maple Leafs are a Midwest dad after lunch, 3 hours of yard work and lunch?
Am I referencing myself on Saturday? Maybe.
So on Saturday, you did some yard work. First of all, did you do it in your dad's shoes?
That's the only thing I wear.
I love that.
My neighbor commented on it, by the way.
Did he? He's like, those shoes are real white for yard work.
He was like, what's up with those? And I told him the whole story. And he's like, my daughter told me never, ever get a pair of those. I was like, well, these are more of a shtick, a bit. But I was like, they're comfy, man. I'll tell you what, now that I'm.
Good arch support.
Oh, yeah. Like, because I got a little back hill. When you're going up the hill with the mower. So the shoes are strong. The shoes are nice and grass stained green now.
Good.
They're nice and broken in. But then I had my I was doing the weed whacker, the whole thing. I was out there trimming up some things.
Now take me through the Andy Ruther just like yard work thing. Like, where's this weed whacker from? Did this come out of your dad's garage?
It did.
Okay. Because I'm just like, is Andy Ruther going to Costco and buying a weed whacker these days? Like, where are we at here?
I would.
You would.
A lot of it is hand-me-downs. Did I say hand-me-downs? Or like I bought my buddy.
I don't want to call it your hand-me-downs. I want to call it your this is essentially what you were left to. Like, this is his estate that you've taken over here.
Sure. I guess that's the way I look at it. But most of my brothers have all this stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it works out for me. Hey, here, take that. But like the mower, my buddy has a big lawn now. He lived in Denver. He had a much smaller property. So when he moved back home, I bought his used little Greenworks electric lawnmower. Electric stuff's nice. I've never had an electric thing.
Now, is that all battery packed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like the new thing. All my neighbors have that stuff. But the funny thing is, like, I got my dad's old school, like, do you call it still or is it STIHL? I never knew.
It's certainly not the brand name is certainly not the letters of the name spelled out, but maybe steel.
Well, regardless,
I got my STIHL mower. Like it's the NBA.
That thing is loud. That's not allowed.
I didn't want my mower to be too loud. I didn't want my STIHL mower to be too loud because I knew people were inside watching the Nuba game.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't even know where we got here. I'm just saying, like, you're in the yard, you're sweating.
Yeah.
You come in,
you have lunch. You're not going back out there.
The point is, you don't want to go back out. That's all I'm saying.
No.
You want to just say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go continue tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. And the food coma lunch thing is real. I remember when I used to work for a moving company in college. Those were the worst. You take a lunch, you eat, you take an hour lunch, you take a little nap, eat for 20 minutes, sleep for 40, and you're like, God, I got to move shit now.
Yeah.
The point is, you don't want that in sports. you know, I was trying to explain. Here's a good quick thing before we get out of here.
The Maple Leafs have post-lunch coma.
No, I'm not. We're not. I already have a title set.
Okay.
It's gonna be Devin Booker's coming out party with rainbows all around. No.
Oh man. God. Cut to Kid Rock watching our podcast on his computer and shooting it with a machine gun. Grandpa's trigger today.
My name is Kid. Okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was trying to explain this one to my girlfriend, but I don't think I did a good job. Again, we were watching the Lakers game, and she's like, I don't get it. They're killing them. They got killed last game. She's like, I don't know if I did a poor job, but I was trying to break it down just for normal. I was like, look, man, there's a lot of factors. Why is every game so different? And I was like, well, they play 7 games possibly. I was like, it depends on travel. If you're at home, you're away. Like, there's so many factors. I was like, I know it's not in the same level. I was like, the fucking 5th grade boys. I remember we played a team twice in the same day. I was like, we killed them earlier in the day. Then a few hours later, we had to play the same team. We beat them by 2. I was like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, just because you kill a team, like, what? I don't know. I don't know what the explanation for that is.
I mean, in the NBA, I think the simplest thing, you talk about 5th grade boys, but like, obviously we've done stand up. You go on the road, you do stand up. You got a Friday show and a Friday late show, or a Saturday show, Saturday late show. Like, first things first, crowd makes a big difference, right? And that's the same in stand up as in the NBA. You know, home and away, you're just gonna feel that much more comfortable in front of your home crowd, being in your home locker room. You know, coming to the game in your car versus the bus and whatever. And that's why we see some teams thrive on the road because they like that shit. And then you look at a team like, dude, this Denver team is bad on the, they had a losing record on the road this year. Like, they like their fucking games. And now also Denver's at elevation. You know what I mean? Like, that's that kind of shit. But forget the home and away. In the NBA, I think the simplest explanation is, like, at the NBA level, even in these elite things, sometimes you're just hitting your shots.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not. And when you look at a series like the Knicks series, for example, it's like the Knicks haven't had a good shooting performance in I don't know how fucking long. And they're not a great shooting team, but take again my favorite team to reference ever, the 2011 Mavs. The team got hot in the fucking second round to the point where they're like, we're so hot, we're gonna win the fucking NBA championship. And people are like, no, you're not. And they're like, yeah, we are. We just like fucking game 1, they're like, they're winning it all. Game 4, Kobe's fucking quitting. You know, Artest is choking people, fucking Bynum's elbowing dudes. They're losing by 45. They're cruising through. Next thing you know, they're in the fucking finals, beating a fucking super team. They're just like, we're hot. And I think that's the thing in the NBA. Sometimes your shots are falling, and sometimes they're not. And obviously, if you're a better shooting team, they're gonna fall more often than they're not. But this Warriors team, for example, they have 2 of the greatest shooters of all time. And if those guys are hitting their shots, like, they're a fucking tough team to beat. And this Lakers team, super streaky. But when the Lakers are hitting their shots, that's why you look at it. I mean, Clay has a 40-point game and is hitting all his shots, and it's a Warriors blowout at home. And then you come back to LA and D'Angelo Russell starts hot and scores 12 points to fucking start the game. It's like, it's a Lakers blowout. The teams are so talented when you're at the NBA level, even the worst team in the league. I mean, we've seen this in the NBA. Like, you would never have that kind of thing in, you know, other professional sports, but like, or even college level sports or whatever. Like, you come out and the worst team in the league is just like, man, they hit 25 threes tonight and they blew out the best team in the league. Like, it happens.
Yeah.
So I
No,
think
for
that's
sure.
it specifically on the NBA. Like, I guess it's kind of the equivalent. We were talking to Ryan. Like, Ryan talks about the goalies. Your goalies get hot. It kind of changes everything. The NBA equivalent of that is just like you're hitting your threes. You're shooting really well.
Yeah. Give us a ring, comment, question, call, whatever it is. 310-359-8365. That is our hotline. So chime in with some opinions and please, one request, just try to make sure it's like I can hear it.
Okay.
Like Bryson,
We're now past the 60 seconds or less thing. We're on to just make sure I can hear you.
like Bryson, we understood your call today, but you've been leaving a lot of calls. I haven't been able to really tell, like the audible or the audio level, I should say, hasn't been the best, especially in your car, for example. Like this last call, I think was not in your car. I just
we're adding cars to the list of don't be laying down.
We have a history. Let's be honest. We have a history. People going in coal mines.
Yeah.
People going deep sea fishing.
When I can't hear a dirt ball, I always just assume that they're stoned and they're hanging upside down like a vampire in the Lost Boys. They're like in a cave, hanging upside down like a bat.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know the drill. Anyway, social, the dirty sports, and yeah, that's it from my end.
Well, guys, I have a bunch of shows. I'm going to list them in order as they come up. So please come to them if they're coming to a town near you. Tomorrow night, I'll be in Ventura, Topa Topa Brewery Tap Room. Wednesday, Westside Comedy Theater here in LA. Friday, Mission Beach Resort in San Diego. Last week of May, next Tuesday, I'm at the Hollywood Improv doing a fun, it's an improvised show, 5 minutes of stand-up from the books, and then 5 minutes of audience suggestions. So if you want to come to see it in the lab. Then last week of May, I'll be back at the Comedy Cellar in Las Vegas, Nevada. Come to see that. Last week of May into the first week of June. Then June 7th, Stamford, Connecticut, New York Comedy Club, Stamford. This is going to be a really great show. Friends on the show, Mark Gerber, Pete Sestaro, myself probably doing 45 minutes to an hour. It'll be in and around where I am from. There'll probably be a lot of talk of the roads up there that I used to drink and drive on. There'll probably be a lot of talk. Stamford's the first place I ever bought liquor somewhat legally, illegally with a fake ID. At the 40 store in Stamford. So come to that. It's going to be a homecoming show. If you're anywhere in the tri-state area, even if you're someplace I'll be closer, this will be the show to come to. And then I'll be in and around New York for the rest of that week and into the next week. All that and more, joeprano.com/shows. Check it out. See if I'm coming near you. I probably am coming sometime soon. And then shout out to everybody who's gone onto my Substack. You paid subscribers are already getting some new bits, putting up some exclusive comedy, stand-up comedy content on there for paid subscribers, giving out some gambling picks on there for paid subscribers, giving out lots of other stuff for free subscribers. So go on my Substack and subscribe, test it out for a little while for free, and then you can decide if, like some of the dirtballs who've already started to pay, you want to pay. And I appreciate all you guys who did. That's it for me.
So are you off Twitter? What's the deal, Preno? We need a final on this.
I mean, I'm off Twitter, but I'm not off Twitter. But I'm off Twitter. Like I'm checking it far less. And just like, I'm just not doing, like sports on Twitter for me, it's like kind of like running game shit. Like the Knicks are on, I'm giving you 10, 12 thoughts during the game. Mets are on, I'm giving you 10. So like, that's always been sort of my Twitter history. I'm not putting that shit up on there anymore. I'm putting that, there's a Substack notes. I'm putting stuff on there. My comedy stuff, like when I have a joke in mind now, I'm just like putting it in my notes, save it for stage. Maybe I'll put it on Substack. Maybe I'll test it out there. It's just like the Twitter game, man. You can't put anything on there without fucking faceless trolls who are now verified fucking coming at you. But I'm still going on there and dropping some things. There's still 12.8 thousand followers. So I feel like when something has to be said, it has, that needs to, like, I'll still promote my shows there, still throw the ever once in a while thought on there. And then there's still some things that are thrown out toward people on Twitter on there. Like I think every time the NBA breaks a ratings record, I'm going to put it on my Twitter like they've been doing every single game. Just reminding the people that have the blue check marks that the NBA has, in fact, not gone woke and gone broke.
Do you think you're addicted to Twitter?
No, because I know I'm not, because I'm not. I've actually been truly like checking it far less.
I think you're addicted.
Okay.
I think. Let me ask you this: do you think you could just give it up
Entirely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my take.
I don't even want to do any of these things.
Here's my take on that stuff. On just in general, across the board for all of us. I think social media is way more addictive. That's the reason I ask you that personally than a lot of us let on. That's all I'm saying. Like, I think it's like, even for myself, I think it's more addictive. That's my point. Than we all want to let ourselves let on.
I mean, I think that there's certainly a thing about, I don't know. I know there's obviously tons of people that like watch and do it for like a million different reasons. And for me, it's like I stopped posting on TikTok as much as when we started to do a TikTok. Then I was like, okay, I'll start putting stuff over there, because it's like, us having an audience on it's probably more important than me having an audience on it. Also, I've been shadow banned for making fun of Taylor Swift. But like on Twitter, the thing for me is like, if I didn't feel like I had built some sort of thing there, I probably wouldn't do it. But then like the Knicks game will be on, and then I'm checking Twitter because there's still information there that I'd like, that's like coming in real time, which is what is great. But then I'm not posting because I just don't need I don't need the comments and the whatever. But then people will be like, yo, blah, 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 this about the game or whatever. And I'm like, fuck, like, this is how people are now communicating with me. And I'm like, shit, like, I certainly don't want dirtballs texting me my thoughts on the Knicks game. That's why I'm sending everybody to Substack, where it's just fucking, you can have my notes. There's threads in there where I can start a conversation thread and you guys can chime in. So then we can have more of a conversation about it and the whole thing. And it's not just, oh, the Knicks this, and then some, picture of a cartoon frog with a blue check marks. Like, no one cares about the NBA, dude. No one wants to see equality path to world peace. Get fucked. And you're like, okay, cool story.
Roscoe just barked when you said that. That's probably Roscoe's account.
Yeah.
I'm still on Twitter. I'm not tweeting as much, but I'm still occasionally popping off with questions like I did the other day as far as what the protocol is if we tip on carry out.
But I'll tell here's like a great example. I didn't even tweet the other day on Dirty Sports. I just saw a thing. I saw a tweet, and then I used Dirty Sports to reply to it. And then I didn't open Twitter for like 2 more days. I saw that. I didn't open for Twitter for 2 more days, and I was like, 200 likes on a reply. That's interesting.
I did see that. I saw that late too. Yeah, it's a crazy world out there. That's our show. Thanks, guys. We did it.
And I talked about my leaving Twitter on the podcast that I put up, which is linked on my Substack.
You're all in on the Substack, huh?
Well, it's a great little thing. I'm just getting used to it, but it seems really cool. You can, when you put stuff up, get an email sent out to your subscribers, tell them you got new content up there. It's, I put a stand-up clip the other day, and it was cool. Like, me, I don't love putting my stand-up clips online, but I was like, well, this is for people who paid for it. So they're getting exclusive.
I think I'm gonna have to go back. I haven't posted on Instagram since April 5th, 2021. A post. Over 2 years. Maybe I'm gonna bring Instagram back.
You're gonna personally bring it back?
Bringing it back, baby.
I still think we need to get you going on the Dirty Sports TikTok game.
I know. I'm just gonna start a baby TikTok. Just videos of the baby. All right, I need to wrap this up. Speaking of the baby, gotta go see what's going on with little girl. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We're out of this bitch. We'll be back on Thursday. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.